Hey everybody, this is Trish Jones and I want to welcome you to the first episode of the Influential Woman TV. And today we are going to be talking about what it means to be influential. But before I do, if you've not yet done so, I want you to go and subscribe either down below or above to the Influential Woman TV channel, because I'll be bringing you plenty more of these videos and you'll want to watch, okay? Now, this morning I was actually watching a short clip of a video of a woman talking about what it meant to be influential. And I had to write some notes down and my head shaking. I'm going, no, 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 no. Now, I'm reading some notes here, right? But this is what she says. She says, influence is untapped potential to bring out the juices, the creativity and positivity. And, influence is something that comes from almost, like she was saying, self-development. Now, I'm a big proponent of self-development, okay? But I don't actually believe that influence is about personal development or self-development. And before you hit the off button and off you go, let me just explain what I mean. She mentioned Mother Theresa as well. She said, her inspiration was Mother Theresa because Mother Theresa was so influential. I totally agree. I absolutely love Mother Theresa, and I think anybody who understands influence would understand that Mother Theresa was an influencer, okay? But to me, influence is about impact. And Mother Theresa saw a need and she went after that need. Now, does it mean that Mother Theresa didn't use her gift and her talents? Oh gosh, of course she did. But she didn't sit there and think, there's a need in Calcutta, all of these children that are living on the streets, etc. Now, let me think about what gift I have and, what my talents are. She just said, how can I help these children in Calcutta? How can I help the poor people on the streets of Calcutta? And that influence, or rather, should I say that passion, was what drew her to become an influence. And yes, when she actually went to meet the need, guess what? Her talent and her gifts were there waiting for her. I want you to remember that when you go out, when you go after your passion, when you move with heart, wherever you move, whenever you move towards that thing that you're passionate about, your talents and your gifts are there waiting for you. Now, I always say this, the influence, in my view, is an outward expression of who you are at the very core. Now, I remember when I first started online, and all of these men were saying, and by the way, I'm not a woman's libber, and you're going to hear me say this often, right? In fact, I shouldn't justify it. I'm just not a woman's libber. Very happily married. But all these men would say, in order to find, to make money, what you had to do was to find something that people were willing to buy and then market it. And bit by bit, they started coming around to the feminine way of thinking. And the feminine way of thinking is very much, there is a need and I need to fill it. And when I fill that need, I know that I will be rewarded for it. And let's look at Michelle Mone. She's the woman who made, well, she's a multi-millionaire through making bras. And this is what it says about Michelle Mone. I went and had a look at, went to look her up because I couldn't remember her name this morning. It said that she became a multi-millionaire by making other women look better. Now, if you don't know the story of Michelle Mone, basically she was at a party, I think it was around 1996, she was at a function with her boss and she sat there all night, doing what women do when the bra's not feeling good. Sorry men, if you're watching, not my problem. And she decided that she'd had enough, that when she went out, she wanted to look good and feel good. And so she went about designing a bra, and in fact actually in the end a number of bras that would make the woman look and feel better. But look at what she went after. She wanted to make other women look better. And, if you have children, you'll understand, okay, when you come home with your first child, I've only had one, but, when you come home with that first child, you have no idea what it's like to be a mother. You just have to go with it, right? So you come home from the hospital, and I was in hospital for 4 days, and I felt safe there because I had all of the nurses around me. Get me home, and I remember Elodie was asleep in her chair, and Chris is on the sofa, and I'm sat in the armchair, and I'm thinking, what do I do now? You know, I'm on my own now, you know, brand new mother, and the baby starts crying. What do? You don't sit there and think about all the formulas of how to make the baby stop crying. You go and you pick the baby up and you hush and you know, you do everything, walk around the house with them, everything, and of course feed them and change their nappy or diaper if you're in America. You do all of those things as well. But I remember one evening, one night, she cried her eyes out, absolutely bawled her eyes out. And Chris picked her up from the carry cot and walked around the house with her. And he ended up in my office, and I always used to keep my computer on, and it was kind of loud. The fan was quite noisy. And he said he realised after a while that when she was sat in the room in my office, she was fine. The minute he walked out of the room, she would start crying her eyes out again. So he'd go back in and he was like, oh, what's going on here? And I realised what was happening. Because she was no longer in the womb, she wasn't hearing the heartbeat, she was a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but it wasn't comfortable for her anyway. She was used to hearing that noise, and she realised, I suppose, that, you know, days have gone by and I've not heard my mummy's heart. So I went out and bought a CD. You know, here comes the formula. I went out and bought this CD where it says, you know, if you play this to your baby, it sounds like the mother's heartbeat, and it will quiet them down. Well, the minute I put this CD on, she shut up. And then, you know, the gurgling started. You know, she was kind of like looking content. Actually, she wasn't gurgling then. She did start early, but she wasn't quite gurgling then. But you could tell she was content. After about 10 minutes, that baby got that this ain't my mama's heart. And she started crying her eyes out again. It never worked after that. I could never put that CD on and fake her with the fact that this is mummy's heart. So, you know, what did I do in those circumstances? I just put my natural instinct as a mother into play, and basically whatever was necessary to soothe that baby. And this is how we are. We have to go after things with passion. And I see a rise in women's websites at the moment, and women in business, and I love it, and I absolutely believe that women have something to bring to the marketplace, hence the reason I'm doing Women of Influence. But I don't believe that women tackle things in the same way. For most women, their very first thought isn't, oh, I have to make a load of money. For most women, the first thing they think of is that they want to do something with purpose. They want to feel that there's more to washing, cooking, cleaning, ironing, and all of those other things, okay? They also want stability for their family. They also want to be around their children. And in fact, that's one of the primary ones. For me, I wanted to look after my baby myself. I wanted to be at all of her school functions. You know, I wanted to be there when she was growing up. I didn't want to just palm her off to somebody else all day and every day and never see her. And that's what I wanted. I wanted stability as well for my daughter. And so that was one of the reasons in fact, that was the reason I gave up work. That was the reason I gave up my management position, was because I wanted to look after my child. So just to clarify, in case I've lost you here, influence is about impact. And when we move with passion, with what is in our heart, we will move with influence to make an impact in the world that we're living in. And when I say in the world that we're living in, I mean your circle of influence, whether it be at your workplace, whether it be in your business, whether it be around your children, in your family, in your society, in your home, whatever it might be, you become impactful. And yes, you then do start using your natural talents, your natural gifts, etc. But you're not sat there, first of all, thinking, you know, I wanna go and do that thing, but you know, what gifts and talents do I need? No, 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 no. Because when you start doing that, you lose the essence of who you are. But when you just focus on the need and solving the problem, as I said before, when you take that step to go and solve that problem, to meet that need, your gifts and your talents, it's almost like they're waiting there for you. They're not, but I'm kind of using that as a, I don't know whether it's an analogy, metaphor, whatever it is, okay, but I'm using that as an example that you will just know what to do when you get to that place of trying to solve that problem and meeting that need. And so as a woman of influence, I want you to take a step back. If you've been focusing on, I need to have the big business, I need to make loads of money, I want you to just take a step back, take a couple of days, think about it, and just think about what it is that you are passionate about, what problem you feel that you have been called to solve, and what need you feel that you have been called to meet. I believe that when you approach your life and your business in that manner, you will get energized. The passions that you once thought you had and you lay to one side because it's like, oh, when I have money one day, I'll do all of those things. Those will start bubbling up inside of you again, and you will move naturally towards the things that you know that you were called to do. So, this is the end of episode 1. I look forward to bringing you more videos. So as I said, if you haven't yet subscribed, you can either subscribe below or you can subscribe above. And please remember to visit the Women of Influence website, and I look forward to seeing you there.